Hi everyone, welcome back to the Tax Sisters podcast. We have our friend here, Michael, also an ASU alumni, like me and Dee. We brought him onto the show because he has a wealth of knowledge. He has kind of been teetering in all kinds of different aspects of small business, corporate America, also in the marketing and advertising world. So I feel like he has a ton to bring to the table. But I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Go ahead.
Oh, hi, I'm Michael. I run a digital marketing agency and also a growth partner agency. So we take small portions of companies we become partners in and help them grow and systemize.
Nice. How'd you get into it? Not everyone decides to be like, I'm going to help everyone else grow their business.
Well, it was a difference. So I started doing video when I was 13 years old, was a YouTube partner back then. So I made like 80 cents. I was like, wait, I can make money doing this?
80 cents.
I made 80 cents. I was so proud of myself. I was 13 years old. And it was like before like YouTube got popular.
Yeah.
And now it's like, if you want to be an influencer, it's a very popular thing now.
It is.
I was doing that when I was a weird kid, weird kid making videos in my parents' house and kicking them out. Like, you guys go to the grocery store. I stay here. Fast forward, played college football at ASU, and then stopped playing.
Wait, what position do you play? I know this.
Can you guess? Offense.
On offense? I don't know. Tight end?
Yep, tight end.
Nice.
I was a tight end and long sniper there. There we go. And so,
oh my God, I know this. I read it, but I can't remember.
yeah, I was a tight end and long sniper there for between 2017 and 2019. Tore my labrum, stopped playing, and all I knew was video.
Yeah.
So I picked up video. Really did not like school. Didn't do well in school. Then I got an email from one of my professors saying, hey, we want to make a social media law class. Can you come in and help us?
Oh.
I'm like, in school, I'm like, okay, why am I paying? Well, I'm also helping them like grow a curriculum. So I was like, okay, let's go hard on this. Let's keep making videos.
Yeah.
Start working with corporations when they're social media side. And it kind of fell into, I met my partner, Chris Reggie, who you guys talked to more than I think you guys talked to me.
Yeah.
And we started making websites and then digital advertising and social media and now graphics and everything.
Yeah, so just from the means of small business, like that's people's like leg to stand on now. So as you're intertwining like what you know, what you've learned, and obviously help grow at ASU, like how important is it for those small business owners to lean on social media now?
It's one of those things that's inevitable now.
Yeah.
You kind of need to have a presence. If you're a e-commerce store, all the way to a service-based industry, to a restaurant, everyone looks you up on social media.
Totally.
I know even now, like my own parents, my dad's almost 71 years old, my mom's 61, that they even look on TikTok, they look at Facebook to see if a restaurant looks good, if a person looks legit. And so that's what it's like. You just kind of need to have a presence on there to people think you're real.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's something that like a lot of people, we always ask, like when people come in or they want to do consultations with us, like how did you find us? Because a lot of people ask that too. Like, did you get referred? How did you find us? And it's like, even when you're checking out to buy stuff, like, how did you hear about us? And it's like 50 things long, Instagram, Pinterest, this.
The post.
Because they use it to figure out, like, where should they advertise? Like, where's their money being well spent, And it's been kind of interesting growing because we're an accounting firm.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say we're not like, the local new fancy restaurant where everyone's like, oh, my steak was great, here's this. Our reviews are so blunt, they're so hard. So when we're trying to grow our kind of whole view, it's like, how do we tell people we're just so amazing without sounding really lame?
It comes from, like, I found you guys from a client.
Yeah.
Where, like, I need a good tax person. He goes, hey, I got the best one. I was like, perfect, awesome.
Yeah.
And so it's like, referrals are fantastic because you have a higher conversion rate.
Totally.
When you do, like, cold outreach, it's kind of hard for some service-based industries because it is that, like, trust, especially like your numbers, your books, your accounting. No one gets in trouble. Yeah. So it's like, I'm gonna trust someone that I know that uses that person before anything else.
Yeah. So I think what you could call yourself is what they're using now, like a serial entrepreneur. You just want your hands in everything. Yeah. Have you heard that saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I always thought it was like cereal as like the food you eat, but it's an S instead of a C.
It's like like a serial killer, but no, serial entrepreneur, because you have your hands in so many things. Tell us about how you've grown into that kind of phase, right? You started on this one simple thing, and now you have your hands in it. Like, how has it been in different sectors of all those businesses growing yourself in those kind of roles?
Yeah, well, the benefit of having a marketing agency and having a good team around it is you can kind of go into different fields. It's all the same kind of formula. Like, we have a thing called COP, C-O-P, which is creative, offer, and proof. So it's like, you have your creative, which could be your website, could be social media posts, could be your advertising from paid, and then you have your offer, right? Where are you offering to clients? And then your proof around it, which is that social proof.
Yeah.
And so it's, if you can go in every little industry, it all kind of follows that buyer's process.
Yeah.
Of they're going to see what you're doing. You see over 10,000 advertisements a day.
Yeah.
I think for now you actually see a little bit more. This is an old stat, but you have to figure out something that's going to stand out. From its billboards to if it's a social media post, if it's SMS, email, all that fun stuff like that. So taking those little different sectors in each part of marketing, you have to kind of figure out which one tailors for this, right? The commercial solar is a lot more of a cold outreach with social proof and blogs and SEO because people are going to Google it, right? But if you go into the like roofing side, you can do those advertisings and stuff like that. Say, hey, you want your roof replaced and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess it depends on what you're in and what's the best way to reach them. I had solar people walking to my house. I had a couple of people walked to my house the other day and they're like, it's so hot. Do you have water? And I'm like, why are you doing this to yourself?
Some of those guys are crazy, I will say.
Yeah,
they'll be out there. I've been out there door knocking with some of the guys at 115 degree heat.
Cutthroat. So cutthroat.
You get used to it.
Yeah, I guess you're right. So in your experience of helping other people grow, what was the hardest thing to impart on them of trying to let them know how important their presence is online? Because I know just for us, when you were helping us revamp our site, there were so many things we didn't know. We're just like, oh, well, here's all of our services. And you're like, but you have to do this and you have to do this and it has to be layered. And I was like, I don't know what that means. Can you just fix it?
So everyone has like their thing they're good at. Like I know I am considered like a visionary. I work well with a team. I can see things and kind of create it in like almost like a pattern.
Yeah.
Where like my partner Chris, he's very task oriented, very CEO style. Where I'm not. Like I don't want to deal with books. I don't want to deal with any of that kind of stuff, as you guys know.
Yeah.
And
I know.
So when you go into a company and you're working with these people to help grow their business, you kind of have to understand what they like, what their strength is. And some of them aren't strength. It's like they just don't care about social media. They don't want to be on it. Some people don't want to be in the light.
True.
And so I want to put in the presence of, yes, you have to take into consideration of what they want to do, what they like, and what they know their base is. If they're a company that's been together for 10 years compared to a company that's only 3 months old.
True.
It's what can we do presence-wise to be, hey, this is inedible, you kind of need it now. Just to have a post a day or 3 posts a week or 4 posts a week, like something just makes a presence that people they trust. Because everyone has their different stuff. Like I know I might go to Google and look up something. I might go to YouTube and look up something. But also now we're seeing TikTok growing the ranks of
X
SEO.
too. I see X so much now.
Oh, I go in X if like I see any type of car accident or any like outage, right to X. I'm like, all right, what's going on?
Yeah.
So it's like real time.
Totally. Yeah. What in general as you've grown in advertising and marketing from when you first started to now, how has there been such like a big shift as a small business owner? Like, have you had to more heavily rely on doing more outreach to gain your clients, or are they just more naturally coming out because it's so much more needed?
In the 12 years or 13 years I've been doing social media, it did start with long form.
Yeah.
And so it's like they want the 5-minute videos, stuff like that. You only had to post like once a week. Where now it's more competitive. And they need to make short form because that's what consumers want. Yeah. They want to just be able to dumb scroll, kind of look through it.
I know it. My screen time's at minimum 6 hours a day.
Yeah, mine on both phones are way too high. And I'll just sit there for hours and just look and see and
what everyone
research.
else is doing. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, it's funny when you go to someone, you look at Instagram stories, right?
Yeah.
Or Facebook stories. Have them. When you ask them, like, hey, what's the last, 5 posts you've seen on there? A lot of people can't remember it.
Yeah, true.
And so it is that dumb scrolling. It's what the consumers want. Like, even LinkedIn, about 2 weeks ago, switched to shorts. They're really trying to push shorts.
Really?
And telling a friend of mine that just does personal brand for LinkedIn, he was talking to his rep, and they said, yeah, we're really trying to push shorts because that's what consumers want.
Yeah.
It's not like we're pushing it.
You think they want shorts? Even, I would say LinkedIn is more in the older, not even that much older generation. I have LinkedIn for sure.
Yeah.
But it's not something I go and scroll.
No, and they want people to be on the platform. And so they want to keep them on the platform. They want
professionals to do their shorts on LinkedIn now.
Yeah. And it's...
Because we see a lot of professionals on Instagram. Like, I see a ton of doctors, all my workout people, like, post their little, inspirational but also educational shorts about their workouts. That's interesting.
Well, even... it was I forgot the exact name of the guy, but he pretty much runs the algorithm for YouTube.
Okay.
And he was telling the interviewer that when you're making content, you want to look at what the algorithm wants, but what your consumer wants, because they're going off what the consumer wants.
Totally.
Right? They're consistently testing. Seeing right now, Facebook's testing having 3 ads in a row in story form to see how it works.
Yeah.
And they're just consistently testing, and it changes every 3 months.
Gosh, that's interesting. LinkedIn, yeah, probably. Depends. That's interesting.
I have one client that goes heavy on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
and they get a lot of their stuff from there.
That's good to know. If you were to go back to your younger self, any advice you'd give yourself? Any other path you'd take?
I don't know if I would take another path because I feel like everything that's happened in my life has like set me up where like I need to be.
Had such purpose.
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't have dropped the partnership with YouTube. I've kept on that realm, but I wouldn't know if I would be in the same place.
True.
Met the same people.
Yeah.
If I didn't play football, I've never met Chris.
Yeah.
Because the guy I met was also an ASU football player. It was like, hey, you might want to talk to this person.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. He made my website, even though he had no clue how to make a website.
Yeah.
And
now you guys are crushing it, making websites all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. So we just kind of learned it together. And we're like, all right, let's do this thing.
Yeah. So let's talk about your life as a small business owner, just in general. What were your weaknesses off the front? Learning how to do your own thing.
Accounting, had no clue where money was going. Just kind of spent and be like, oh, okay, I have money. Cool, I can spend it. And then
have you seen that Instagram reel from, well, I can't remember Dan Levy from Schitt's Creek? Well, that's write-off.
That's what yep. I'm hoping.
What do you mean it's a write-off? Well, it's a write-off. It just gets written off.
Yeah.
He's hilarious. Have you watched Schitt's Creek?
I have.
Yeah.
It was probably about 2 years ago I watched it, but I thought everything was a write-off, and now I understand that not everything's a write-off.
Yeah. What else though? I hear a lot. Obviously, accounting's the one, and then people get so worked up with themselves that they don't know, and I'm like, but I don't know how to do anything else either.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I don't know how to do advertising and marketing and insurance and all these things. I'm like, why do you have to be so professionally versed yourself?
Yeah.
And I think people just get so wound up. Well, I should know how to do this. Like, why? I don't know how to do open heart surgery or any of those things.
It's good to know little bits about it.
Totally.
Like when we're on like marketing clients, I want them to scroll through Instagram just for an hour a day, just to see what's out there. Like you don't need to be expert in it. There's a book that Chris had me actually read. It's Who Not How, where it's who can do it, not how can I do it.
Okay.
So you really like dive into
look at that book. Who Not How.
It's really good. It's kind of you kind of understand the process, but like 30 minutes into it.
Yeah.
So when you read the rest of it, I think 30 minutes in, you kind of understand the whole thing.
I'll probably do the audiobook. I'm not much of an actual book reader.
I have to put headphones in, go for a walk. That's the only way I can do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you kind of understand what you're good at and stay in that field, and you find people who are experts in that field that you're not in, and let them do it because they're going to do a better job than you will.
Yeah. No, and we harp on that a lot. So a lot of people that come to us, obviously sometimes they just like throw a whole load of crap on our plates, right? And it's not because they don't know, and we don't expect them to know everything. But we want them to be educated enough so they can make their own decisions, right? So when people come to us and they're like, just do whatever you want, like that's not my preferred way of just working.
Yeah.
One, because you'll not be able to fully grasp your future plans if you don't know how your plans are going to affect you, right?
Yeah.
So if like just do whatever you want, then we're always working in a very stagnant position. But if you understand the ramifications, how certain things work, we can make 2, 5, 10-year plans because then it's structured. And I think that's most of what we see that goes awry is that people just don't appropriately plan. Mostly in the sense that everything can be super peachy keen right now, but if say in a year, and I use this example a ton, like in a year you want to buy a house.
Yeah.
But this year we're like, okay, let's get our tax bill down as much as possible. And then you're like, go into underwriting next year and they're like, my tax return says I didn't make any money. And I'm like, yeah, we bought assets, we bought all this stuff to lower our taxable income. And they're like, well, now it says I made no money. I'm like, well, you didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't make any
money. That's why we delayed it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it was totally the plan. But people don't think that way, right? They just think current in the moment. And that's what brings up future planning. So, it's so important. And that's kind of what we've tried to impart on you and like Chris, like, hey, everyone's always fighting to the end in the current finish line, right? And we have to think about, right? We all have these tiny short-term goals, whether if we want to hit certain, projections or profit margins, like we were talking about earlier, like those things are super important. But also long-term goals have to be in the hindsight, like constantly, like that's your rear view mirror you're constantly looking at. And I think when people start grasping that, like, yes, I need to focus on running my business right now, but I need to think months ahead constantly.
Yeah. And it comes fast too.
Yeah.
Exactly. It comes like, we're almost done with this year. I'm like, I feel like it just started.
It's just started. I know. I'm like, we are planning our Friendsgiving, and I'm like, I don't have any plans for the next 2 months. Like, I'm not ready to close the year yet. I don't even want to do it next week. Yeah, it's really hard. So, and that's something that we impart on small business owners. Like, it's not just now, it's in your future self. And people have to think about that with their business, with their retirement, with their financial well-being. It's not like it used to be. Like, everything's very, especially with the election coming up, it's been so, like, chaotic.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait for, even like today I was talking to a client we do a lot of SMS and emails for, and we've paused everything on SMS just because so many people are clicking stop on everything coming in because everyone's getting bombarded. We've delayed everything until the 6th.
Yeah, that's funny you say that. I'm actually getting political advertisements for North Carolina and South Carolina all of a sudden. And
Are you from there?
No, I've lived here my whole life. I've never even been to either of those states.
That's funny. We've like TV advertising. I know on Facebook we can't launch any more political ads.
Oh, really?
They put a stop on it until the 5th.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you can't run anything political at the moment.
Gosh.
Which I'm fine with. I don't want to be on social media looking at political. I see enough on TV and SMS. I don't want to see more.
I don't like watching TV. I told Dee, she's like, did you watch the news? I was like, all the news is bad news. I don't like being so sad when I get home.
I still watch the same news thing since I was 13 years old. It's Philip DeFranco on YouTube. That's all I listen to.
Yeah.
It's so well in depth, and it's my 30 minutes I need. I'm like, cool. I know what's going on in the world.
That's it. Yeah. If you were to help another small business owner get off the ground, doing exactly what you're doing, what are you going to impart on them is specific to your industry? And what are you going to impart on them as a new business owner? What are you going to tell them?
Based off what industry?
Yeah. You be like, hey, this is what you do to got to get your foot in the door in the industry, and this is what you need to do as a small business owner, because this is what I've learned
in social media wise?
Yeah, sure.
One's better than zero.
Yeah.
So 1 post is better than no post. 5 posts is better than no post. 10 posts is better than 1 post. Like, obviously, the more you can do, the more eyes you're going to see. Is one, figure out what you like and what your consumers like. Right? So it's all based on what your customer wants.
Yeah.
So what we do is when we do a whole onboarding sheet where we kind of understand the avatars. When you look at avatars, like, I just want 25 to 30 males that go hiking.
Oh, okay.
Cool. I want to go more in depth. I want to have a guy named Bill. Bill is 27 years old. He has 1 kid. He drives a Toyota or a
Subaru.
So say a Subaru, yeah. Drives a Subaru, loves whiskey, drinking with the guys on Sunday. Like, we want to go so in depth because it's easier to market 1 person than 10,000.
I think I've heard that, and it was actually an Instagram reel. I watch a lot of Instagram reels.
I can tell.
Jeez. It was this, they had one single pint, like a beer pint, at the bottom of like a huge thing of stairs, and they threw like 10,000 balls out, and not one of them went in because they were trying to market to so many people. Yeah, that reminds me of that.
TikTok just came out with a statistic. Just on TikTok alone, the average person, I think it's like 230 posts a day.
That's how many they watch?
Yeah.
That's only 230 swipes. I feel like I do more.
Yeah, well, the average person.
Yeah.
But like, now you go to YouTube, now you go to LinkedIn, now you go to Instagram, it consistently go. I think, the exact stat was, but they took the Instagram, like the one reels, and they multiplied by feet. I'm trying to remember the exact foot number of it, but it was I think it was over like 500 or something like that.
That's how many they watch?
It was before, it was on Instagram before. I forgot what the exact number was. But yeah, like you just realize you scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, and you just see so many different things.
So many things.
Yeah.
So what are your future plans? What do you got on the docket for yourself?
Trying to grow the...
Personal and business.
Oh, personal. Okay.
Other than your cute cat, Cozy.
I love Cozy.
She bigger now, though?
No, she's like still 4 pounds.
Really?
She like stopped growing, which I love.
That's cute. Hopefully she stays that small.
I know, I'd love to. Personal, I like to, finally get a house out here.
Because you live in Tempe, right?
I live in North Scottsdale.
Oh, God, so far.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. So
that's not my stomping ground. I was born and raised in Gilbert, so this is all I really know.
I grew up in North Scottsdale.
Yeah.
So I was like,
when we had to go to our hair lady in Arcadia, I was like, this is just so bizarre.
That's so funny. It's, honestly, like Arizona, also in Chris, like if I drive more than 30 minutes, it's long for me.
Yeah.
Like 2-hour drive is far for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to drive that far. Which like nothing's really more than an hour drive from like all the way up there down to here.
Yeah, I'm in East Mesa, so if I like the farthest I'll go like on a dime is probably Cardinal Stadium.
Yeah.
That's like 50 minutes.
It feels far, but it's only like 25 minutes away from me.
For you?
Yeah. I just hop on the highway, go left, and I'm there.
And you're there.
It just feels so far. But yeah, I don't know, personal, it's pretty set up. I'm 25, so
yeah.
I have a lot more to grow in life.
Mm-hmm. House is a good...
It's a good staple. But I want to like stay up in North Scottsdale, but a house is like 1.3 million.
Up. And then some. I actually saw the average home price in Paradise Valley is almost $5 million.
That's insane. I did not know that. That's insane, though.
That's crazy.
So that's
a different life over there than us.
There's so many speed lights, too. I don't like it. But I was in South Georgia last week, and there was like $300,000 homes will be $2 million here. I'm like, I must be with South Georgia.
You know, my brother just moved to Georgia at the beginning of this year.
Really?
And they bought a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house, 2-story. Only has 1-car garage, which I think is just weird in general.
Yeah.
But has a really long driveway.
Yeah.
It's a good sized yard. It was like $300,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. If it was just here in Gilbert, it'd be literally $800,000, $900,000.
It's insane. The house prices have gone up way too much.
And they got that little gas, or they're putting a new gas station in Georgia, that Butchie or Buc-ee's.
I went to Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's.
I went there. I like saw it when I was like, I flew into Atlanta and drove down. And I saw like all these signs, like, wait, they have Buc-ee's here? I was already late getting off because I didn't know I was going through a different time zone. I had no clue what Nebraska was. I didn't know it was Midwest. I thought it was down south. But this was
should have checked the map.
I probably should have. It was last minute, got on a plane, went to Omaha, Nebraska, then Iowa, back to Arizona, then Georgia. No, Arizona to Nebraska, Nebraska to Iowa, Iowa back to Nebraska, Nebraska to Georgia in 3 days. Yeah, it was very fun. It was a lot of driving.
Oh my God.
But yeah, no, I went to Buc-ee's and I was very overwhelmed. And I don't get overwhelmed easily, but I'm like, okay, there's like a lot of kids. I was like stiff-armed a 5-year-old. And I was like, all right, get my food, I'm out.
Yeah, seriously. No, everyone says, I know they're building one in Goodyear here.
Yeah, that's what Mom was telling me.
I saw that. They're putting one in Goodyear here. I don't think I'd ever travel just to go check it out, but maybe on the way out somewhere. It's kind of out of the way though, because I don't go through Goodyear to go to California ever.
Yeah.
So...
Well, I have a question for you guys with the election coming up. Is it better, we can cut it out if you want me to,
good.
Is left or right better for small businesses when it comes to taxes? Or does it all depends on the industry?
You know, I wouldn't even know the answer to that because I don't ever ask people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not something that ever comes to mind. Normally we try to stay out of the conversation most of the time because we never know how anyone's going to... or which way they're going to fall, right?
Yeah,
it could be 2 totally different conversations. I mean, Dee and I talk about politics all the time, but in front of clients, unless we're super close with them, it's normally not a conversation. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It'd be really cool to get that kind of data, though.
Yeah, because I was looking, I was like, well, because just looking at like political-wise, a lot of them say a lot of stuff, but then they actually don't do it.
Yeah. I guess let me say, like, in general, like, a lot of people who are small business owners don't want big tax hits.
Oh yeah.
So maybe that might string you to this certain path, you know?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it all depends on. It'll be interesting to see what comes up. But when it comes to like you guys in small businesses, what's defined as a small business? Is it a certain number? Is it a certain like company size?
So I would say small business. In our sense, we work with companies that are as a small business account. right? That's what we
Yeah.
consider ourselves, a small business accountant. We have clients that are, doing up to, I don't know. I think one of our dental clients does 20 or 30 million. They have a ton of things, and it's not anything out of reach for us. I would say the base, most of our clientele normally work between 1 and 10 million.
Yeah.
So I would say, a normal, think about a regular, contractor out here, an electrical contractor. That would be considered small business to us. Probably making $5-10 million, have between 20 and 50 employees. That's normally our really good sweet spot. We work well. But we also work with just single member, real estate agents and people that are just starting off and they're going off on their own, and now they're doing electrical work on the side, or handymans, or we even have quite a handful of 2 people cleaning companies.
Yeah.
So small business, I guess it's relative. We just think of big business as so big, right? People that are doing
100 million,
hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars. But we also see that a lot of our small businesses grow super rapidly. We have a client based out of here. They started really getting off the ground running last year. They're in the pharmaceutical, and they went from 500, and they were emailing us yesterday, we're going to do $6 million next year. And I'm like,
good.
Yeah,
right.
Where did that come from?
Feel like that's
right?
a secret. Yeah.
And so I feel like business in general, people are really getting out of their shelves to be entrepreneurs, and the source is out there for them. It's just how hard are you willing to drive for that success, right? Because we see a lot of clients that are totally cool with the day in, day out. They just want to pay their bills. Everything they have right now is steady. They don't want to get a ton of clients because they like their lifestyle or their work-life balance for sure. But then there's also the people that are just I'm going to grow this as big as I can in a structured manner so I don't fold. Because there is a time where you can grow too fast. You can outgrow yourself, and people fold because of that.
Yeah.
They can't get enough people to work for them, and then they can't take on their jobs, and then all kinds of things. So, yeah, I would say, between that, 5-10 million is normally what we see the most of our work. But it's crazy because we could have people that come to us that have been in business for 10 years and they don't know a lick about anything still. They're just kind of
winging it.
They're winging it, but I mean, and that's the difference, right? You can be a giant in your realm, run the business so good, you're good at running the business, but it's just everything else. It's like the little triangle, right?
Yeah.
Running your business, financial well-being, and then accounting. So you got to have all 3.
Gotta have it.
Right? Because then we have a lot of people that are like, oh no, I always just take advice from my friends. And I'm like, no professional advice? None? They're like, no, man, just my friend in the BNI group, they tell me everything.
I've seen BNIs kind of pop off a little more recently.
They're not our favorites.
Yeah.
We're not a part of any BNI groups.
Nor am I. I have friends, guys who work for us that are in BNI groups.
We're not a part of any BNI groups. Mostly that we found is that, Dee uses this example all the time, Go Gilbert. There's a Facebook group called Go Gilbert, and it has all the residents of Gilbert. And people are always asking, I need a referral for someone to replace my roof. And then it's always the same people referring the same people.
Yeah.
And we're like, they must be in on something, right? They must be
have something,
they're just referring the same people over. And so lately we've been go check people's Google reviews. Go see what actually people, what product they're putting forth. Because sometimes the loudest bird in the crowd gets all the business. And I'm like, maybe they're not even good at what they do.
Yeah, maybe they're just popular.
Yeah.
People just get used to all right, this is the group, this is XYZ company that does this.
Yeah. So, but we're really striving to be, and that's why we started the podcast, right? Podcast, we do the whole school thing now. We're really trying to just be a beacon of just giving out more education, because we've learned that, and we hear it all the time, well, my tax accountant, my CPA, my bookkeeper, whatever, they never explained anything. They never educated me. I just was always just a burn and kind of churn. And we feel like it's just not fair, especially with all the misinformation that's out on Reels now.
Yeah, a lot.
And we did that, whole that whole reel for our Instagram of like, here are the things that I see like every single day.
Yeah.
Like, this is just chaos. And people take that advice. So even though like it used to be like, oh, well, if you want any advice, you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I'll give you the education, but you also have to know how to apply it too.
Exactly.
So
on our onboarding sheet is, I want to better people's life for free. So I ask them to pay. They think the pay is going to be more valuable because I changed their life.
yeah.
It's like on the onboarding. Because that's why we give so much information, so much data away.
Yeah.
That people go, okay, you've already changed my life better. What can you do? You have a paid course. You have a paid service. Okay, now what can you do better?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of people have actually thanked us, like even on consultations where they're like, hey, can you just review things to see like what the issue is, what's going on? And they're like, I had no idea anything was like happening. And that's it. They just don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part, is that no one's expected to know everything, right? Especially like we lean on people all the time, especially for like retirement. People are like, well, tell me about all the quirks of a 401k profit share. And I'm like, it's totally not my department.
Yeah.
I know all the different tax laws and how to apply them. However, how they function, that ain't for me.
Nope,
you know?
same here.
And that's why there is so many professions, because everyone is good at what they do, and we should leave it to them to do that.
And then you niche it down and you become a master in that little field.
For sure. So tell me the last 3 pieces of advice that you would impart on anyone trying to start their small business journey. Who should they be friends with? How do you grow yourself? Things like that.
The first one is, if you give up, you'll never be where you want to be. That's the first thing. So have a clear direction of where you want to go, because if you're going in the dark, you're never going to get there.
Yeah.
And if you're ever going to get a business partner, make sure they're not the same as you.
Okay.
The
yin and yang.
They
He and I are totally yin and yang.
So Chris and I.
What do you think?
I'm good at what his weaknesses is. His strengths are my weakness.
Yeah.
And if you have the same people, I have a video going out this Friday talking about it. If the same person does the same exact thing, you're going to clash heads. You're not going to trust each other.
Yeah.
Because you think, oh, my way's better. Well, I'll do this. My way's better. It's like you're going to clash. Have someone that's good what you are not good at, and then be good at what they're not good at.
Yeah.
Those are my 3 pieces of advice.
Nice. Well, thanks for checking in with us today. I'm going to link all of Michael's contact info on our podcast, our YouTube video. We're going to post it on social media too. He's definitely a professional in this area, and I want everyone to be able to reach out to him. He can impart so much guidance, wisdom, all that stuff, especially if you're trying to grow your social media presence. I know that he's helped us just tenfold, kind of create a more welcoming environment. And I think that's what everyone wants, a welcoming environment for your clientele, because you're right. Customers, what they say is king.
Yep.
So sometimes we just got to oblige. But we look forward to talking to everyone next time. See you next time.
Thank you.